Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety for the City of Huntington on August 19th. We'll call the meeting to order beginning with a roll call.
Mayor Strick,
Present.
Daniel Albertson,
Present.
Megan Bonbrake,
Present.
Anthony Lesnickia.
Present.
Thank you. And first item on the agenda today is consideration of the minutes of the previous meeting of August 5th, as well as the August 19th summary of the executive meeting. Is there a motion to bring the August 5th minutes to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of the August 5th minutes. Further discussion and consideration of the minutes as presented. Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of adoption of the minutes as submitted. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Next item is consideration of the August 19th summary of the executive meeting. Is there a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the motion? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the August 19th summary of the executive session meeting. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to consideration under old business. First and only item is park and utility mowing agreements. Is there a motion to bring the item to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Director Cutress.
Yes, thank you. Previously in 2023, we bid out park and utility mowing. That contractor has been unable to fulfill their contract and has backed out. So the city was able to find a new contractor. They are willing to honor the current prices set under the previous agreement and pick up the utility and park mowing contract for the remainder of the year. That contractor would be Ground Control Lawn and Landscaping. They are willing to, like I said, pick up the remainder of the contract for this year, and then we will rebid it through the normal process next year. It would be my recommendation that the board authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with Ground Control Lawn and Landscaping for the remainder of the contract term, which is approximately 10 mowings for the park and utility mowing.
And so with that at this time, any questions pertaining to the contract moving forward?
The ground control came recommended.
They are a landscaping company out of Bluffton that has the ability to pick up and has the capacity to handle the amount of mowing that's needed under this. They actually reached out to us when they heard that that the previous contractor was backing out. But based on everything we have, they have the ability to do it. So that is our recommendation.
Do they hold other contracts with other municipalities? Do you know?
I do not know that.
Further discussion? Okay, we'll call the question in favor of authorizing awarding of the remainder of the contract. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you. Motion carries to award on recommendation the remainder of the contract. Moving along, consideration of new business. We have 3 special event requests today. The first item is the Base Wars World Finals. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration and approval?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. We have with us today Mr. Andrew Stoltz. Wouldn't mind stepping forward, state your name and address for the record, and tell us a little bit about the event you're planning.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Stoltz. I live on 1806 Fruit Street here in Huntington. This event was brought to my attention by the Base Wars Crossroad Reasons judge, Brandon Erickson, which is a good friend of mine, who is also, like I said, the judge. What happened was we lost our original location in Plainfield, Indiana for the Base Wars World Finals, and we would like to seek permission to use the same event location as we did for Basin for Paws, which was at the Huntington County Fairgrounds. The only difference that we're going to be doing this time is we're going to be using the show arena because we want a place where we can drive through since we don't know how the weather's going to be. So we would like to at least stay dry. As all the same is, all the music will be in that lot where it's outside of the city limit line. So music will be over there. Neighbors will know, be notified, and we're also going to have to notify more further out, like unlike last time. Last time we did like a quarter-mile radius. We're going to have to do about a 1-mile radius because we did have some neighbors complain. There was only 2, thankfully, and it was handled with respect and everything we could do in our favor to hopefully calm their nerves and everything we can. The event will take place October 5th. We're trying to get a start about 10 a.m. It'll probably be 11 or noon, but 10 a.m. just to have a safe spot. And it'll probably go until, I wouldn't say no later than 6 p.m.
Questions by board members for Mr. Stoltz?
Do we feel like we had a good turnout for the Basin for Paws?
Yes, we had almost 50 competitors, and we almost had 200 and something spectators. A lot of people had a good time, and they would like to see more of events like this here in Huntington if possible. Next year, we would like to also do another charitable event. We're trying to push for a nonprofitable organization, and from now on, the show is going to be called Basin for a Cause, which we'll come at to later when we discuss everything. Not only will it be an audio show, but we would also like to have a car show involved as well.
And did we have any issues from like department heads or anybody have any complaints afterward, or did everything go smoothly on our end as well? Good.
Not that we've received. Chief, did you have anything beyond the 2 complaints that were already noted? Yep. So with the relocation of the World Finals from Plainfield, how many competitors would you anticipate?
Since it is a World Finals organization, the unfortunate part is we won't have as many people this time around, which is probably also a good thing. So it probably won't upset the neighbors as much because with Base Wars, you have to be a member of the organization and you have to attend 5 shows and compete. That's their only stipulation. Some organizations like MECO, which is another audio organization, you have to get like 40 points, and shows can be 1 point to 3 points, and you have to attend like 15, 20 to sometimes 30 shows a year just to be able to get that, which means you're traveling states. Unlike Base Wars, like I said, 5 shows, and we can cover that in like a month.
So you're expecting less than 50 competitors then?
Yes. Just because
Yeah.
they're in other states too. So what it's going to do, instead of having a bunch of people in one area, like I asked DB Drag and a Mecca, where they go down to like Kentucky and rent out the exposition center, and they have thousands of people there. Base Wars, they do a live stream, so it'll all be live on their website. So we'll have live video, we'll have everything on the website, and it'll be coming up on the screens of whose points where in each state. Because Michigan has a Base Wars judge, Illinois, Ohio, and Kentucky all have their own judges. So they'll probably be there so they don't have to drive as far. A lot of these guys did come for the Basin for Paws just because they know it was a charitable event and they wanted to help out. We had a handful of people come all the way from Cincinnati, and a bunch of people will even come all the way from the northern part of Michigan.
And the expansion of the radius, is that just in light of the 2 complaints you guys had received, or do you anticipate this show being louder than Basin for Paws?
I don't think it's going to be as loud, but the one complaint came from some guy on Columbia Street, which obviously by the bowling alley. We're going to expand and try to leave notes on their doors as well. One came from that apartment complex, which I left notifications. Unfortunately, I ran out and I didn't go back because I forgot which apartments I didn't get to, but I got about 90% of those apartments. So it was the 10% that I didn't get that probably complained. Other than that, we calmed her nerves. We told her, hey, this is what's going on. I do apologize, and we're going to try to keep this to a once-a-year event. Unfortunately, this is just one of those situations where we really need to get an a venue to hold this event.
I want to acknowledge and commend you on addressing the complaints with those folks, as well as then expanding the radius just to communicate better with the public around us. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's the right approach. Any other questions from board members regarding the upcoming event? Okay, with that, we'll call the question in favor of approval of the event for October 5th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. At the Hires Show Arena. I assume you've also got the support of the 4-H board at this point?
We have notified them. We're waiting on a sponsor to help get the
fees.
the fees paid for,
Okay.
because we try to solely do this on sponsors, so it doesn't really come out of our pocket. Unfortunately, it still sometimes does. It is what it is, but if we can get sponsors to help out, it helps out small businesses and all that other good stuff. And we're also going to try to get food vendors there as well, which I know needs to be brought up, so that way the Department of Health can come out and inspect as well to make sure everything's all clear.
Yep. So we'll just make the approval conditional on getting the site approved and working with the needs of the health department with that. Sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. So with that, then we'll call the question in favor of conditional approval pending securing the arena as well as necessary inspections with the health department. All those in favor indicate saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Great. Thank you and good luck with the event.
Thank you.
Next item under special events is Huntington North Homecoming Parade. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration and approval?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and second. It's my understanding that this is the same parade route of the past few years. Do we have the date and times available?
On 9/20, so September 20th, starting 4:30 to 6. And it is McGann to LaFountain to Edith and Jefferson back up to Viking Lane.
And what were those times again?
4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. September 20th.
And this has been circulated with department heads. We didn't
Yes.
receive any concerns or requests from the department heads? I
Now
believe.
everyone was
Okay.
approved it.
Okay, further discussion by board members? Not hearing any at this time, and knowing it's the same route as the past few years, we'll call the question in favor of approval for the parade route on September 20th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries for approval. Thank you. Next item then is Huntington Catholic cross-country event. And do we have a motion to bring that to the floor for consideration and approval?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. With us today, we have Mr. Mike Hannon. I invite you to step to the podium, sir, and state your name and address for the event. Tell us a little bit about the dates and times for it.
Hey, my name is Michael Hannon, and I don't live in Huntington yet. I'm still in the moving process. I still live in the Indianapolis area. It's going to be at Memorial Park, and it'll run across Bartlett Street, and it's going to be a 2 and 3K event, so about a 1 mile and 2 mile event. We've done this, I believe, for the last several years. I'd like to continue it if at all possible.
And what's the date and times again on the
The
event,
date
sir?
is the 14th of September, and we'll run approximately 7 p.m. to noon. 7 a.m. to noon, I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Thank you. And as he noted, this is an annual event. Questions or discussion by board members?
What was
None.
the area on that again? I'm sorry. You said Bartlett?
It's Bartlett Street as it runs through Memorial Park.
Okay.
Further discussion or questions? Okay, not hearing any, we'll call for approval. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Have a great event.
Thank you.
Next item under new business, we have Dr. Ryan Hart with a follow-up sidewalk and parking spot closure at Downtown Dental for the facade work. So is there a motion from the board to bring the request to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Dr. Hart? Step
Thank
forward.
you. Good afternoon.
Remind us of your address for the record and go ahead and provide the update.
Sure. Address in question would be 429 North Jefferson Street. And we undertook the beginnings of a construction project to improve the facade of our building recently, and now I'm seeking approval for the final phase, which is the re-bricking, where they're going to take off another outer layer of brick and replace it with new brick windows. They're going to need to set up scaffolding like they did before, so they'll need a partial sidewalk closure, and they request parking spots out front for the lift that's needed to get up high and the dumpster. Previously, they requested 10 spots, but they ended up using just our own parking lot, which is probably what they'll do again. So they ended up only using about 4 to 5 parking spots at a time. Expected length of this one's going to take about 2 weeks. They'd like to get started on the 30th of August, have things set up for 2 weeks.
And so that would take it through to September 13th,
That's the anticipated date, yes.
as weather allows, we understand. Questions by board members?
How many parking spots are directly in front of your building?
Approximately 10, if you include the entire fence line. They won't use all of those. Most of their workers and their trailers and things that they had planned on parking up front, they're just going to use our own parking lot.
And Director Cuttress, were there any issues previously while they were removing the former facade?
No, I think I think the biggest concern was the number of spots with them using your own parking lot. They had everything else out front, nice and protected. Kept it all didn't get any complaints, any calls on anything, so I don't have any concerns with the plan for this one either.
Anything else by board members?
Are they gonna mobilize the scaffolding for the holiday weekend?
They're planning on
They're gonna work
working on that Monday.
Okay.
They're starting on a Friday, which we're not open on Fridays, and we'll be closed on that Monday. And they're doing that so that they can get a lot of the loud, dirty portion of removing their brick done on those days when it's less busy. And then they'll be building, the scaffolding will stay there while we're going to stay open as an office. After that, they're going to be building a protected walkway so patients can still go through underneath, but they're trying to get the dirty, loud parts done first while we don't have patients.
Great.
Do we have any events or anything planned for the downtown area during that time? There's nothing coming to mind, but I don't,
Not aware
Not-
of anything in that block.
Not in that block.
not in that, okay.
No. You would have the chalk walk on the 7th, and then I believe Huntington County Going Gold, it would be over Labor Day weekend down by the courthouse.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion by board members? If not, we'll call the question in favor of approving the requested sidewalk and parking spot closure at downtown Dental. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda, I'm requesting ratification of the signature that I gave on an agreement between the City of Huntington and the Regional Development Authority. The Northeast Indiana Regional Development Authority is an agent acting on behalf of the Indiana Economic Development Commission in this regard. Is there a motion to give consideration to ratifying the mayor's signature on the RDA agreement?
Second.
Motion and second. So this is, so the City of Huntington can receive a $2.7 million grant for downtown renovations of the building previously known as the Huntington County Annex. So that's as part of that project as we move forward with a private developer on that. Further questions or discussions?
What was the total sum on that again?
This grant is $2.7 million. This comes out of the Ready 1.0 funds by the state of Indiana. Okay, So with that then, I will abstain from the vote, but we'll call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion carries. Thanks for ratifying receiving a $2.7 million grant. It's easier when the money's coming in. So with that then, I want to open public hearing on 49 East Market Street and 53 East Market Street. Are there any members of the public here to comment on the matter at hand before the board today? Not hearing any at this time, we'll close the public hearing portion on 49 East Market Street and 53 East Market Street, and open a public hearing on 422 Frederick Street. Any members of the public here to address the board on 422 Frederick Street? Not seeing or hearing it at this time, we will close the public hearing on 422 Frederick Street. And move along to ordinance enforcement. And so with that, at this time, we do have the matter of 49 East Market Street and 53 East Market Street. Is there a motion to, by the board to bring this to the floor for consideration?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Motion and second. We do have Commissioner Paul with us today to provide an update, and then we also do have Mrs. Norma Ash on behalf of the property owner to provide an update on the work in progress they've made so far. So, Chad?
Good afternoon. The property is owned by Jeremiah Ash, 7140 West, 100 North, Andrews, Indiana. The complaints that we received date back to May 10th of 2023 about the slate roofing and dislodged or broken windows. An email was sent to Jeremiah on May 11th, 2023. Not receive a response. Ended up doing a courtesy notice on April 17th of 2024, asking for 30 days to correct all the items that were noted in the courtesy notice. Did not receive a response, so requested the title search and went through the full unsafe process. On July 26th, I conducted an exterior inspection of 49 and 53 East Market Street. At that time, there were 5 unsafe violations, 2 minimum housing, and 3 corrective measures for compliance. On 49 East Market. East Market had 5 unsafe violations, 2 minimum housing violations, and 5 corrective measures for compliance. I did receive an email since that from Jeremiah, and he just sent an email today that I'll let Mrs. Ash fill you in on what they've completed.
All right, and prior to that update then, any questions from board members for Shad?
You have not had any contact with the owner?
He emailed a couple times since the order was issued, and then he emailed today stating that, I'll let Norma, I just looked at it on my phone because I was out of the office today, but it sounded like everything was repaired that was required to be repaired except for the slate on the roof.
Okay, board members can come back to Shad as we need to, but this time I do want to invite Mrs. Norma Ash to come forward. If you wouldn't mind stepping to the podium, and please state your name and address. We appreciate you making time to be here for an update. So,
my name's Norma Ash. I'm Jeremiah Ash's wife, and we are at 7140 North in Andrews. And yes, that's correct. Everything that was needed on the Market Street properties, 49 and 53 Market Street, other than the slate tile roofing, a repair has been done. We have spoken to McGuff Roofing Company, and we're waiting on them to hear back on when they can get that repair done. But everything else has been completed. Pictures were sent in the email to Mr. Strick.
And Chad has those. Yep. Questions for Mrs. Ash?
So you did receive the pictures, and they are to your liking, the updates?
I did not even get a chance to look at them.
Oh, okay. And so would you like to set something up with either Mr. or Mrs. Ash to actually go physically look at the
So I
building?
think the only thing that was possibly an issue was the birds on the inside.
Yes, and that has been cleaned up completely, and the windows have been covered up so to avoid any future.
Nothing more coming in.
So then is it ideal to maybe set something up to go in and actually physically look at the inside and the outside, set up a date
Yes,
with them?
that'd be
Okay.
good. Yes.
Email then, and
Set up something with
Yeah.
Commissioner
Okay.
Paul? Yeah.
Then the deadline for everything to be corrected was August 25th. So
Mrs. Ash, has McGuff Roofing given you any kind of timeline on when they think they would be able to?
no, I know we tried reaching them again before the weekend, and we're still waiting on them. So it's dependent on what they say.
Okay. And have they given you a quote or estimate on the work yet?
I am not sure.
Okay.
I don't have those details.
Is that the first contractor you've reached out to for the roofing?
We reached several, I believe 2 or 3, and they were the only ones that we actually got
To hear back from?
to hear back from them. And I don't think they're big contractors.
Okay.
They're smaller.
Shad, given the nature of the work and the timeline involved with hearing back from McGuff, is there an appropriate amend to extend the order of enforcement?
with this time of the year and everything, and I'm sure they've already got a lot of projects on the books, I would, maybe the 60 days.
Okay.
If they can't do it, you can try to find someone else.
And so that would take us out to, and being discussed at the October 21st meeting, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
18th?
And then prior to that, Mrs. Ash, would you or Dr. Ash be able to provide an update in writing to Shad or in appearance with the board by the September 16th meeting? It'd be 30 days.
I can discuss that, Jeremiah, but yes, we can try to give an update
Yeah,
by then.
that'd be acceptable
Either in
to-
writing, in present, or both.
Okay. So with that then, is there a motion to authorize an extension of 60 days and have an update on the, at the September 16th Board of Works meeting?
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration? Okay, not hearing any more at this time, we'll call the question in favor of the recommendation to extend, modify the order by 60 days, an extension. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay. So then that grants a 60-day extension, and then if you could just make sure to communicate with Shad, he can make himself available for any current inspections on the work that has been completed. But then as you're able to work out with McGuff or another contractor on the roofing, recognizing again the timeline and the calendar might take longer, than what the season allows, but as long as they get you scheduled and on the books, that's the main thing we'll be looking for with that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item under enforcement would be 422 Frederick Street. Is there a motion to open discussion and consideration?
So moved.
Motion and second. Commissioner Paul?
Yes, the property is 422 Frederick Street. I did an inspection on the entire property when I set that up, but the issue right now is on the detached garage, which is out back. The owner is Kathleen Bartram. Her address that we have is 422 Frederick Street here in Huntington. I don't believe she resides there and is residing somewhere else. Vested interest, which is Federal Home Loan Mortgage Company. This is another one where we got a complaint. I'd sent a courtesy notice, didn't get a response, so set it up for a full inspection. Done the inspection on July 31st. 12 unsafe violations, 9 corrective measures for compliance with a deadline date of August 30th. See, there's a little bit of an issue there. My recommendation would be to affirm the order of enforcement with a deadline date of August 30th. Come back on that September 3rd Board of Works meeting. At that time, direct me to seek demolition proposals. Have the garage demolished.
Is there a motion to uphold the order of enforcement and affirm the August 30th deadline?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration by board members? Commissioner Paul, so you've not been able to get any response from the owner?
No.
Okay. And with the title search, it turned up at this property still?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no forwarding address or anything?
No, and I looked and looked and looked and could not find a forwarding. Oh, it's Federal Home Loan Mortgage Company.
Okay.
And it is on an alley, isn't it? Right there. I was waiting for those pictures to go by.
Yes.
That's definitely dangerous. I was trying to get a look at if that's on that, yeah.
The 12 items on the order of enforcement, the 12 unsafe items, is that the main structure as well as the garage, or is this all on the garage?
Just the garage only.
Okay.
Mm.
Is there any reason why we wouldn't just seek demolition?
Laws of the state of
Yeah,
Indiana?
okay, that's what I thought. I knew that there was some.
Did you
Well,
look so?
I'm not an attorney. I guess we could
Yeah,
consult
no,
with counsel on this.
Baby
I've already asked
steps.
too much.
Did you look so far to see, are there utilities turned on to the home? I mean, is that something that you hadn't looked into yet? I mean, if there is anyone residing there?
It's not really part of our process.
I say I didn't know if that was anything, I mean, if there was anybody residing there or not.
It's not occupied, I know that.
Oh, okay.
No, not unless it's underground.
Oh,
Okay. So with that, then, we do have a motion to uphold the August 30th deadline and affirm the order of enforcement regarding 422 Frederick Street and the exterior structure. Had motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the motion to affirm. Not hearing any this time, we'll call the question in favor of affirming the ordinance of enforcement. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not aware of any miscellaneous items for the good of the order. Move on to consideration of paying the bills incurred by the city of Huntington under accounts payable. Is there a motion authorizing payment of the bills incurred?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the bills incurred by the city of Huntington? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of approval, paying the bills incurred by the city of Huntington. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. And is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.